Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joanna Vicente, and I'm the Executive Director and co-head of TIFF, and I want to welcome you to today's world premiere of David Foster, Off the Record. To begin, we would like to acknowledge that tonight's event is taking place on the treaty territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation and the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, and the Huron-Wendat. We are grateful to have the opportunity to work in this community. This film is eligible for the Canada Goose Award for Best Canadian Feature Film, the Grouche People's Choice Award, and the Grouche People's Choice Documentary Award, so vote for your favorite films at tiff.net/vote. We would like to thank Bell Media and Endeavour Content for providing us with this film. The Government of Canada is a valued and long-time supporter of TIFF. Funding from Telefilm Canada and the Canada Council for the Arts helps us to make the festival happen each and every year. We are indeed truly thankful for the support of the Government of Canada and the Department of Canadian Heritage for their artistic vision in promoting Canadian identity and cultural development. So please join me in welcoming the Honorable Pablo Rodriguez, Minister of Canadian Heritage and Multiculturalism, to the stage.
Thank you so much. Bonjour à tous. Hey there, it's great to be back here. Thank you, Joanna, for the warm welcome. Et c'est aussi un plaisir de vous accueillir à cette projection. I'm so happy to be back here at TIFF. I love this festival, and I'm so pleased to help introduce this wonderful documentary about the incredible, absolutely incredible David Foster. It's a fascinating look into the stories behind his songs that have meant so much to so many people, including me and pretty much everybody that I know. It's also a great display of Canadian talent, and I'm so proud that we can claim David Foster and director Barry Avrich as our own. Hey, they're Canadians, right? They're Canadians and we love them. And our government strongly believes in the importance of arts and culture, and that's why we're so pleased to be part of TIFF again this year. And it showcases some of the best that Kenyan filmmakers have to offer, and it brings people from all over the world to Toronto to celebrate that fact. So when I looked at this packed house, I see that we all share this passion about arts and culture. We're here because of that, and I'm convinced that our investments in artists, festivals, theaters are going a long way in enriching people's lives. And by being here, you're the proof that stories matter, that music matters, that art matters. Alors, félicitations, congratulations to Barry and his team for this documentary. Enjoy the show. Merci beaucoup.
One of the most successful record producers and songwriters of the past half-century, David Foster has worked on countless chart-topping albums. Andrea Bocelli, Barbra Streisand, Chicago, Whitney Houston, Jennifer Lopez, Michael Bublé, and Celine Dion. These are just a few of the people Foster has worked with over the years. Director Barry Avrich gives us an ample case for Foster as one of the most influential creators in pop music history. So please join me in welcoming the director of David Foster, Off the Record, Barry Avrich.
Well, this is amazing. 32 years ago when I moved from Montreal to Toronto, I was an usher in this theater, so to be back here all these years later to have a film is exciting. That story isn't true, but I just thought it'd be a way to endear myself. Anyway, I want to thank the minister for coming. I really, really appreciate that. This can't be a better time to be a Canadian than right now. So I'm excited to be here. I also want to thank Joanna Vincent. Welcome to TIFF. As you know, I've had a long history with TIFF, and excited to have you here as the world comes to Toronto to watch films. So thank you for being here. This film came to me at an interesting time. Jeff Latimer, who runs Canada's Walk of Fame, brought this idea to me when I was just finishing prosecuting Evil, which was at TIFF last year, which was about a 99-year-old Nuremberg prosecutor. And it was heavy and it was tough, and this was just the perfect film to escape to. Thank you. Relatives, it's always nice to have them here. I thank you, Jeffrey, for bringing the film to me. A couple of people that I want to thank. My trusted producer on the film, amazing Caitlin Chetty. It's her birthday tonight, so I wish her happy birthday and thank you. Sanda Fisher, associate producer, fantastic work, thank you. Eugene Weiss, my editor, we've, in over 45, 50 films, we'd never found each other until this film, and you'll see the work in terms of weaving this story together about this incredible cultural icon. So much to work with. I mean, incredible career, and Eugene did an amazing job. Thank you. The rest of the team are here. I just want to thank them. Richard Spence-Thomas on sound design, Elizabeth Klink, the best visual researcher in the business, Michael Perlmutter, who worked on music, and you'll see, how much music this was. We just basically ran out of time and money in David's life. I mean, there's just 8 billion songs in this film. So thank you, Michael. Andre Bugozzi's story editor, amazing. Ken Ing, my cameraman, who had to follow me around the world to get this done and wait for Celine Dion for 42 hours and Lionel Richie for another 14 hours and whatever, but patient and a great man. Robin Mirsky from Rogers Telefund, great funder of documentaries. Mark Johnson, who's David Foster's manager, and I owe so much to, because he's sort of the patience through a lot of emotion and a lot of scheduling to make this happen so brilliantly. So Mark, thank you. Jeffrey Latimer, I've acknowledged, Mr. Canada, Mr. Entertainment. Gary Slate, who's an executive producer on the film and great philanthropist in the country, and I thank him as well. The Bell team and everybody at Crave who got on from the beginning of this project and took me all the way home and here tonight. I mean, spectacular partners in film, and really appreciate their entire team. I mean, I've never seen such a hardworking team in my life, just spectacular. Randy Lennox is the head of Bell Media and is the executive producer and producer of this film. And I have to tell you, I mean, it's not usual that a director will stand up here and wax on and glowingly about your executive producer and the producer who have, specific textbook roles on a film. Randy was invaluable because he came from the music industry and 30 years of it in terms of polishing and making people's careers. So it was a blessing for me, incredibly nervous for me to sort of sit and show him this film where you have, one of the greatest producers ever in front of Randy and have him watch it and then continue to sort of polish with the kind of notes that are refreshing, that made sense, and that really, I think at the end of the day, made this a better film. So Randy Lennox, thank you. I see you right there. I want to thank David Foster's family, his sister and his daughters, who don't know me, did not know what their father had gotten themselves into here, but were very open, honest, beautiful, touching, and made this a real pleasure for me to do this film and let me get into their lives and their fathers' lives and try to peel away a couple of layers here to really understand what success looks like on both sides of it. So I really thank David and his family for that. Now, without further ado, the subject of this film, David, I met David probably 3 years ago. We began to talk about this project. I couldn't believe that a film about David had never been made. It seemed insane to me in this sort of halcyon day of music documentaries. And he had to trust, I had to trust, and we found our chemistry. You'll see it in the film at the end of the day. I mean, David is a relentless showman, but at the same time, you know, we get a sense of how this man operates. So I can't wait for you to watch the film. The film was made for music lovers. This is not Finding Neverland, thank God. It's not Amy Winehouse. This is a film, you know, where you sit back and love the music, and that's what this is about. So, ladies and gentlemen, David Foster.
I will not say much because Barry covered everything. And thank you, Joanna, for being here. And this is my first time at TIFF, if you can imagine that, in my life. But I've had no real reason to come because nobody's ever done a story about me before. So many songs in films, but never really a direct relationship with any film festival. Barry covered all the thank yous, and there are many of them. It was a weird experience for me, I'm not gonna lie. I've had a lot of stuff done to me and with me. I said in the beginning of the film, you'll see, that I said to Barry, you think you're just gonna roll in and take over and do my life? I said, you're not gonna do that, but he actually did. I ended up playing by the rules. And the rules really are, for a proper documentary, that you don't get involved, you let somebody else tell your story, you don't make notes, you let the producers do it, you let the director do it, and Barry did a brilliant job, I think, of doing it. I've only watched the film once, and it was a rough cut, and I didn't really have any notes, other than I said to him, it seems like you've only used 8 or 9 of my songs in this movie. Like, why only 8? And he said, David, there's 38 of your songs in this movie. So 38 songs went by pretty fast to me. I'm sure it cost a lot of extra money for Randy Lennox and Bell Media to get those songs in the movie. But I don't know. I'm a little nervous because I don't know what to expect. I played by the rules. He made the film that he wanted to make. Thank you all for being here. I don't know how it works, but I accept this Oscar on behalf of everybody that helped. We go to our seat.
Once again, please welcome Barry Avrich and David Foster.
Wow. Thank you so much. Hey, guys.
You're used to this.
He told the story pretty well, wouldn't you say, Barry Avrich?
Talented man.
Thank you. I think we're going to stand. You guys can sit.
Please.
I think, yeah. Gosh, that was nerve-wracking. Thanks. That's one of my sisters.
Does anybody have a question or a comment or, you know, a song to pitch or something?
Let me be the first to add. Well, that's true. You do generally take requests from the audience, but if any singers here. But David, what was that like watching? I mean, you admitted that you saw it once and weren't allowed to say anything, but sitting in the theater with 1,400 people on 80-foot screen here, what was that like for you?
It was a little bit uncomfortable at times, but I think I enjoyed it. I think it was really fucking good. It was. You did an amazing job, and your team.
Thank you for giving us a quote for the poster. That's perfect.
There's no press here, right? I'm glad of so many. I'm happy about so many things in the movie. Could have done without the reality TV stuff, but nevertheless, I love that my foundation.
You lived it, my friend.
I did. I love that my foundation was in here. I think Jim Treleving and Walter Schneider and Jeffrey Latimer and Mike Ravenhill, the CEO of the foundation. They're all here tonight, and they had a big part in this too. And I don't wander far from my foundation. It's a big part of my life.
Well, I wanted that in because, I mean, we've all been in this business a long time where celebrities lend their names to a charity and off they go and they never show up. I mean, you're at every event, you produce them, you make sure the talent is there, and you care about these kids. I got an email yesterday from a girl in Toronto that cystic fibrosis that you saved. And all she wanted to do, she's not well enough, but all she wanted to do was send her wishes and love, because that's what you do every day.
We saved, yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's a team effort, for sure.
Do you want to take, does anybody have, there's a waiver back there, yeah. Go ahead. No, the lady behind you.
What's wrong with her?
We'll do you
can do them both, right?
Yeah, we'll do the lady in white, and then the lady, yeah, go.
I love that. She says, don't ever worry about dying. You've been here 4 or 5 times before, and you're going to be here 6 or 7 times more. I like that.
Booked.
Thank you.
You're booked.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, sorry. Yeah.
Hi, Leona. How are you?
Leona Buoyed.
Guitarist, a classical guitarist extraordinaire. That I had spent 5 minutes with Julio Iglesias? Oh, he had just left my house.
We left him out, yeah. Why isn't,
he's
why
not
isn't
in there.
Julio Iglesias in this film?
Well, that's a question for you.
You told me you
why
didn't
is
want him in
Shaka
the
Khan
film.
not in there?
No,
Why is Kenny Loggins not in there? Why is Kenny Rogers not in there?
Idea.
Why is NSYNC not in there?
Well, it's not a multi-part series, but we made choices there. I mean, there's no question. Maybe it'll be in the continuing series of the film, but it's endless with David. I mean, there was another 50 artists at the end of the day, but we wanted to tell those incredibly poignant stories.
I like the through stories
of discovery.
Yeah.
Josh Groban and Celine Dion and Michael Bublé, but just at how you change their lives.
Yeah.
And that was important.
Yeah. Nice.
Right there.
I'm from Victoria, BC originally.
Me too.
Ladies from
Hang on a
Victoria.
Only because she's from Victoria, BC, she gets a microphone.
Thanks, David.
Go ahead.
So your very first celebrity softball tournament for the David Foster Foundation, I was there. And here in Toronto, I have a souvenir bat that was signed by you. And so you made a huge impact, and it's been, my son was there at that event, and he was 2 years old, and we still talk about that.
Wow.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you for sharing that.
Right there.
Hey, Mark. Mark Jordan, songwriter extraordinaire, Canadian, another great Canadian talent. How come Mark Jordan wasn't in there? I worked with him.
Taxi.
He's here now.
Yeah. Me? I took over? Doesn't sound like me at all. An empire? Well, that would have been good material for the movie for sure.
And if people didn't hear that, when they were in the studio, the engineer asked David what he needed, and
In my earphones.
in the earphones, and you said an empire.
An empire. Yeah.
Which you built.
Yeah. We should probably have a mic down here. Is there some way to have a mic for
I'm
these
afraid
questions?
we just have to. We can only repeat them. We don't have a mic. We'll do
Okay,
one
go
in the
ahead.
middle there. Yeah.
Crossroads up in Muskoka? You guys sucked. I said you sucked, and you did. I mean, I think it's fairly obvious that I don't pull any punches, right? You know, I would love, I mean, I have 3 of my daughters here and my beautiful wife, Catherine, and her mother, and they're all in that row. Would you guys mind standing up, please? My 3 daughters, my mother-in-law, and my wife. There they are, right there. Aaron, Jordan, Amy, Pisha,
And Kat.
and Catherine.
Okay, there was. Yeah, right there.
I mean,
Question was, how did you choose the timing for each artist in terms of the duration
I
you
mean,
spent? with them?
working closely with my producer and editor, it's storytelling, and ultimately, I think we try to get it right in terms of the power of conviction in each story. One story might be shorter, one might be longer, but certainly the ones, I think we got it right in terms of the more significant, longer pieces, on that end of it. And every film's about pacing. So we found, again in the Chicago thing, there was so much emotion. I should say that, when I was going to shoot them, I said to David, we're going to shoot Chicago, and he said, "Oh, okay, these guys hate me. You better be careful. You don't know what you're walking into." And I walked in, and those 3 guys were there, legends. I love them. I listened to all those albums, and I said, "So guys, let's get rolling here." And they went, "We think David is the greatest producer ever." And I went, "Wait a minute, on your greatest hits album, the liner notes say that you couldn't fucking stand him. And now you're sitting here and you're telling me these, come on, guys, come." And then that's where they started to sort of tell us what was really going on and how they felt. And David, again, in fairness to him, kept saying to me, "Wait a minute, I think there's this musician I work with that hated me. Call him, see what he'll say and whatnot."
Yeah,
and,
I wanted you to talk to Richard Marx because he
That's
really
right.
does hate me.
That's
and you
right.
never interviewed him.
He
It
said
would have
no.
been great.
He said no.
He said no?
He said,
Is that true?
Yeah. He said, "I do hate him, and I'm not going on camera."
I do hate him, but I'm not going to say it on camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, fuck him.
And he's here tonight, Richard Marx, ladies and gentlemen.
Go ahead.
I appreciate that.
Michael Bublé and Josh Brolin say
And
kind words.
And my honest, humble answer is, and I know it looks like I'm an egomaniac, and I actually am, but my real humble answer is that I think great talents like that, Celine and Josh, and where were the Cores, by the way? We sold 30 billion records together. Where were they?
That's enough.
Anyway, but I think people like Josh and Michael and Celine, they were gonna get there anyway, with or without me. I think maybe I shortcutted the path for them. That's what I think.
You've been waiting for a while. Go ahead.
Hi, David. Sure, it's a great.
Could you talk a bit about the projects you're working on now?
Yeah,
who
it's
you're
a great
developing?
question.
You're working on.
And it leans right into after this we're going to the gala, and there's 3 including my wife, but 2 incredible singers here who are going to sing with me tonight at the gala, and they're great, young, phenomenal singers, and they are Pia Toscano and Shalea Fraser. Where are you guys? They left. They didn't want to stay for the... Oh, they've gone to the rehearsal probably. They're gone? They're gone? Well, tell them that I gave them a
They
great
were
shout
Richard
out.
Marx fans,
You know,
maybe.
and I'll say, I mean, they were transformative. I mean, look them up. Pia Toscano and Shalea Fraser, I think, has just been signed by Quincy Jones.
Yeah.
I was transformative for me in our creative process because I flew out to see your one-man show and started filming there, and watching you, I know your work, but these girls came out and they are mind-blowing. So again, David Foster discovering talent.
Right.
I mean, they're spectacular.
Well, when you go on the road, and I love to tour, you can't bring those artists on the road with you. Would be $1 million, $2 million show. So I have these great young singers that sing my songs, and Pia and Shalea are two of them.
And just not for you, Pia tours with Bocelli.
She does, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we can do one last one right there.
Let's switch. You take.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll take your question.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I'm kidding. Go ahead. You mean the opinion he gave me? No.
How did
no,
you
I'm kidding.
develop your opinion of David? Did you have one going in, or did it change
Well,
over the...
look, it's
Shoot.
The project was brought to me, and I knew of David's immense talent. As I said, I thought it had already been done. It's true. We met several times to sort of talk about it and develop a chemistry. I didn't really know what I can add to it. And Samantha Brickman, who's here, was introducing me to Clive Davis at the time, and that really changed things for me because I began to research Clive Davis and said, okay, you know, he's discovered amazing talent, the golden ears, but he didn't make the music. And the more I started to read and listen and rediscover David's music, I said, okay, you know, I want to go in and go deeper and get a sense of how it's made. And also, more importantly, let the audience hear this music again. It's fun to look at those crazy music videos of Peter Cetera and watch everybody and go back. That's the idea here for this film. So, you know, my opinion going in, I didn't have one. And then as we were on the road and working together, and I said this before, for me, transformative was being in Capitol Records with David. We went in, and David can tell you the story, but I started to play tracks back to him in that studio, great studio where Sinatra's recorded and whatnot, and watch him react to the music he hasn't heard in a long time, and take him back to that session and see him break down and see, you know, him lower his head and think about it and remember the chords and the composition. And that changed everything for me in terms of making the film and our relationship.
Yeah, that's true. That was an odd moment for me too when he said, I want you to listen to a few of my songs, a few of your songs. And I said, why would I want to do that? They put the camera on me, and he started playing the songs, and I had nothing else to do. I couldn't just sort of stare out like this. So I just started closing my eyes, and it was a very real moment where I was like reflecting on every note that I had ever played on all those records, which was most of the notes, and just how they all came about, and remembering where I was and the moment and the vocals and Whitney and, you know, all that stuff. It was pretty cool. And your question for me is? Where was Boss Skaggs in this? We wrote 3 hits together. Thank you.
Was there a song that you wished was a bigger hit than it?
Yeah, I've written 1,000 songs. 950 of them were not hits. So 50 hits, 950 failures, although they made it on albums, but they didn't become singles. But speaking of Boss Skaggs, my favorite song that I've ever written or co-written is a song called Love, Look What You've Done to Me for Urban Cowboy with Boss Skaggs, which is not in the movie. That's I think, my favorite song.
You have too many songs, that's what you said. It's true.
And it's expensive to put songs in the movie.
But they can all
I
go
was
on
just
down.
giving. There's
Here they
Shalea
are.
Fraser and Pia Toscano,
Toscano
two
and
amazing
Shalea
singers.
Fraser.
You asked who I'm working with. That's who I'm working with. They are amazing.
Incredible talent.
Sorry.
Give her a mic.
Sorry.
No, I don't have a question. I just want to say I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of him. We love you so much.
Thank you, Shalea. These are two amazing voices. Pia Toscana and Shalea Fraser signed with Quincy. Pia sings with Bocelli. It's like they're not just, you know, they are on their way, for sure. Okay, I gave you a shout out earlier, but I couldn't find you. Okay, thank you, girls.
And you'll have a chance to see him tonight. Thank you guys so much for coming. I'm afraid we have to
Thank
wrap
you
it
all
up.
so much.
Congrats.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Barry. Good job, buddy.
Thank you.